a monster, and if you want to cancel their, make them use their summon up and then send their monster back to their hand, it also works great. They don't have that summon anymore. It's also great when your opponent does a special summon, like from the extra deck or from the deck itself. You can forcibly send that monster back to the extra deck. Really great. I had to find out that for sure that it was actually allowed in the rules, but you can do that. Pretty handy. Trust me. I've used it a couple of times to stop my opponent from bringing out some of their best monsters from their extra deck. And that is how compulsory evacuation works. I have one because you're only allowed to have one compulsory evacuation device. Really great trap card. Next is another card that is limited to one, another trap card limited to one, which is Bottomless Trap Hole. Pretty graphic looking card, I must say. Really well done art. How it works is it's kind of like, I guess, kind of like old Trap Hole card, which we'll get into in another deck. Is when your opponent summons a monster of 1500 or more attack. Is 1500 or more attack, you will then send that monster, if I'm correct. Let me read to be sure. Oh yeah, you will destroy that monster, and then you will also remove them from play, which is really handy if you don't want a monster particularly go into the graveyard, because a lot of monsters have effects when they go to the graveyard, like some of my Ghostrick monsters, of course. Really great card, especially if your opponent is bringing out some very strong monsters. And that is Bottomless Trap Hole. A Warrior Destiny Hero deck. Destiny Hero Clock Tower and Destiny Hero Dreadmaster. Not bad. Not bad at all. I've played against that deck before. Crushed it, like I said. But really good deck. I have some friends that use that deck, and it's not bad. Next is some more Ghostrick special cards, which are Ghostrick Knight. This is probably one of the most important traps or cards actually in the entire deck. I have two of them in my deck. And how Ghostrick Knight works is when you have a monster on the field. Actually, I think it's a Ghostrick monster to be exact. Yeah, when you have a Ghostrick monster on the field and your opponent's monster is face down defensive position, they are not allowed to flip summon those monsters, which is really handy, especially going into the effects of some of the other Ghostrick monsters. Really, really nice. And I have two of them. I'll see if I can get a better look at it. Really pretty card. Really pain in the ass for a lot of my opponents, especially because Ghostrick deck works on trapping your opponent and then just attacking straight over them. Especially with Ghostrick Museum, which is a field spell card. Next is Ghostrick Vanish. Pretty handy card. Can help in some pretty tight situations. I have one of it in my deck. How Ghostrick Vanish works is you can target all of your face down defensive position monsters and Ghostrick monsters, and for one turn they will not be affected by card effects or monster effects. Unfortunately, they can still be attacked, but to use this card correctly, you have to reveal one of your Ghostrick monsters from your hand. So there are some limits to this card, and it's a one turn trap card. Pretty handy. You can't games. Good luck with that, my friend. Good luck with that. Next is Ghostrick Scare. Another Ghostrick trap card, pretty important. I only have one of this in my deck. How Ghostrick Scare works is, let me read to be sure. Target any number of face-down defensive position monsters you control. Change them to face-up defensive position. Count the number of Ghostrick monsters among them, and if you do, change that many face-up monsters your opponent controls to face-down defensive position. There's a minimum of one, of course. But it's a really pain-in-the-ass card for a lot of my opponents, because forcing them face down, and then with Ghostrick Knight, you're trapped down there, as long as I have a monster on the field, of course. Really nice card. Next is another staple card that a lot of people have, Torrential Tribute. Torrential Tribute works by if your opponent summons or special summons a monster. Flip summoning, I believe, works as well too. You would destroy all of the monsters on the field, including your own, which can be bad, but it's worth the sacrifice sometimes if your opponent's bringing out some of his or her best monsters. And they are all sent to the graveyard. Millennium Puzzle activate. Good for you, sir. Good for you. You are Yami or I can't remember his name right now. It's been too long since I've watched a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! But that's because I've been busy playing. But yes, I have one Torrential Tribute. Pretty good staple card. Next is my last of my trap cards in this deck. Is Ghostrick. Let me get a good show of it. Ghostrick Go Round. Can't get a good look at the words right now, but you can get a good look at the picture. Pretty cool little trap card. I have 2 of them in my deck. Let's see if I can get a good. That's hard work with the camera. 2 Ghostrick Go Round. How Ghostrick Go Round works is during the battle phase of either of your turns, you can activate this card effect, and if you have a face down position, defensive position monster, you can activate the effect of it by sending that card to face up attack position, and you can only do it one monster once per turn, and then you can target one face up attack position monster of your opponent and put him or her, depending on the monster, I guess, to face down defensive position. Really handy to negate an attack and to force the monsters into your traps. Really nice. And I have 2 of them, like I said. And that is all the trap spells and monsters in my normal deck of my Ghostrick deck. Now we can move into the extra deck. My extra deck, my Ghostrick, is kind of complicated, but it works really well with the combination of Ghostrick monsters. We will start out, like I wanted to do before, with hold on, sorry. This is mixed up as well because I had recently done a duel today. Prince of All Saiyans. Oh dear God, no. First, starting off, in my Yixi or extra deck is Ghostrick Dullahan. A Dullahan is actually similar to a headless horseman. Carry around their head with them. You cannot reattach it. Ghostrick Dullahan is a level 1 monster with 1000 attack and 0 defense. Sounds like it's really weak. It takes 2 level 1 monsters. I think it's just any. I don't think it has to be Ghostrick. No, it doesn't have to be Ghostrick. 2 level 1 monsters placed on top of each other for a special Yixi summon. I have 3 Ghostrick Dullahan in my extra deck. And how Ghostrick Dullahan works is once per turn, you can remove one of the 2 material from under him, and then target one of your opponent's face up monsters, and you can have the attack of that monster. So, for example, if it has 2,000 attack, you can have it to 1,000 till the end of your opponent's turn, I believe. And another really cool effect of Ghostrick Dullahan is counting himself any other Ghostrick cards, including Ghostrick traps, Ghostrick field spell cards, and Ghostrick monsters. He gains 200 attack. So plus himself and maybe one other monster and field spell and a trap card, he will gain, if I'm correct, 400 extra attack. Pretty handy. So he can go up to 1,400 right there. Very nice card. I carry 3 of them. And his last effect, which is the same for all of the Ghostrick Yixi monsters besides one, when he is sent to the graveyard, you can choose one other Ghostrick monster besides himself, or of the same name as himself, and return it to your hand. One Ghostrick monster. So, for example, if one of his materials were sent in there with him, which they should be, you can send that material back to your hand. I carry 3 of Ghostrick Dullahan. And moving on to the next. My extra deck. Staying with level 1s, just because I can. I carry... What the hell? Where are you? Sorry. There you are. I carry 2 monsters that look pretty similar to each other. One called number 31, Embodiment of Punishment. Kind of a creepy card. And number 13, Embodiment of Crime. Pretty creepy cards. Let me switch. Embodiment of Crime, Embodiment of Punishment. How both of them work are pretty similar to each other. But Embodiment of Punishment works is once per turn during either player's turn, you can detach one XYZ material from this card and change all of your opponent's monsters to face-up attack position. Also, when all those monsters your opponent currently controls must attack this card this turn, if able. But no, it's a Jaden? Okay. And the other one is let me just say the normals before I go into the specials. For Embodiment of Crime, you do about the exact same thing. Send one of the materials And change all of the opponent's monsters to attack position. And all opponent's monsters currently must attack this card this turn if able. But when you have the other both out, pretty nice, Embodiment of Crime, Embodiment of Punishment, their effects become quite more powerful and different. This card cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects when it has X, Y, and Z material. Because that is the same effect for the other one as well. And then their also very nice effect is your opponent takes any battle damage that you would have taken from the attacks on these cards. Pretty nice. I know who Jaden is. I don't think he spelled it right though. But anyways, yeah, that's number 13. Let me make sure I'm saying this right. Number 13, Embodiment of Crime, and number 31, Embodiment of Punishment. Two very nice level 1 monsters, Yixi monsters, but are much better together. Going into more of my extra deck. Let's go into the level 2s now. Number 65, Dijin Buster. I only have one of them in my extra deck. Not the card I use too much, but it's kind of situational based. Number 65, Dijin Buster works is during either player's turn, when the effect of my opponent's monster is activated, I can detach one XYZ material from this card and negate the activation of the effect and inflict 500 damage to my opponent. Not a bad card by any means, just a simple card. Number 65, Dijin Buster. Next is another I decided to start with Ghostrick monsters, but I decided to also switch out so we can do the rest of the Ghostrick monsters afterward. Is Gacha Gacha Gatetsu, a level 2 Ghostrick monster. I mean, non-Ghostrick monster from the Extra and Yixi deck, or Fusion or Synchro, I guess you can say as well. How it works is, if this face-up attack card would be destroyed, you can detach one XYZ material from this card instead. Face-up monsters you control gain 200 attack and 200 defense for each XY material attached to this card. Not horrible. Not horrible at all. Gacha Gacha Gatetsu. And lastly, I guess there's one more. Making sure I'm saying that right? Yeah, there are two more. This one, the next one, and this one. Before we get into the Ghostrick, the rest of the Ghostrick. We got Wind Up Zeminis. Very annoying card for many people. It is a level 3 Yixi monster. How it works is, if this face-up card on the field would be destroyed, you can detach one XYZ material from this card instead. Once per turn, during the end phase, if this effect was used during this turn, target one card on the field, monster or trap or spell field card as well, and destroy it. Pretty handy, very annoying for the opponent. That is Wind Up Zeminis. Many people hate this card. I use it just for that very reason, because people hate it, and I hate it too, but I love to use it. And the last card of the extra deck, that is not a Ghostrick monster, is Generasu. Or, let me say this right. Genosaurus. A level 3 Yixi monster with, sorry I didn't say this before, for other monsters, 2,000 attack and 1,900 defense. Pretty nice card for the most part. Generasu. I'm not saying it right, I'm sorry. His effect is when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can detach one XYZ material from this card and inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. Not a bad card by any means, it's kind of situational based. But now getting into the rest of the Ghostrick monsters, not including Dullahan, unfortunately, I forgot. But anyways, let's start out with the level 2s of, oops, I'm gonna drop. Sorry about that. I'm sitting right in front of my computer, kind of hard. Is one of my more favorite Ghostrick monsters, Ghostrick Succubus. Really pretty card. Maybe, I know you can't get the grace look at it, unfortunately, but look it up if you choose. Ghostrick Succubus. Succubus, not Succubus. I said that wrong the first time. Succubus. Really pretty card, level 2. How it works is I need two level 2 monsters on top of each other to be summoned, and while you control another Ghostrick monster, your opponent cannot target this card for attacks. Once per turn, you can detach one XYZ material card from this card and target one face-up monster on the field. with attack less than or equal